My brother-in-law is the reason why my husband left me. I don't know what to do now. IF 38 met my brother-in-law M 38 at uni. He asked me out in our first year and I refused. He called me the C word and that I am shallow. My best friend told me that it was harmless comments from a drunken guy who got rejected. I never thought myself shallow, it was his demeanor and awkwardness that was off-putting to me. Anyway, he proved my friend right, and other than these comments I have never felt uncomfortable during my uni years because he never bothered me again. Not even looked my way. Next time I met him was when my baby sister F28 introduced him as her BF. I didn't even recognize him at first because it was like 9 to 10 years since that day he talked to me. He was visibly annoyed that I didn't recognize him and called me a liar. The family was skeptical at first about him, but he seemed to treat my sister right and she seemed happy. He is very rich, taking her all over the world, and he seemed kind with us too. They got married after a year of dating. They have 3 children. I met my now ex-em 45 years ago, and the only odd comment from my brother-in-law was that I was still as shallow and superficial as I was in uni. At the time, I took it as a joke, but in hindsight, when I found out the truth and started thinking back looking for red flags, this was probably a big one. He never showed any signs that he disliked my husband, and he was always decent enough and his indifference to have a close friendship with my husband, and I didn't seem odd because he was always a recluse. A year ago, my husband came home and accused me of cheating, and he had evidence. The guy contacted him and he had nudes etc. of me on his phone. The guy told my husband that he didn't know at first that I was married, but as soon as he found out, he contacted my now ex. He even apologized to my husband. I have never met this guy in my life. Nothing I said or did made my husband believe me. He left me and our divorce is pending. Then yesterday that guy contacted me. He apologized for what he did and told me that he is friends with my brother-in-law. He sent me conversations, endless conversations my brother-in-law had about me for years. He has never forgotten that I, in his words, didn't even give him a chance and only judged him by his looks. He called me C in that chat. Both groups chats with his friends, but mostly with this guy. They planned this attack and my brother-in-law somehow got access to my photos. The reason this guy contacted me now is that he felt guilty because even when my marriage is over, my brother-in-law still was angry and hateful, especially when he heard that I was on a date last weekend. So the friend felt that he didn't help his friend but ruined innocent people's lives. Not sure what to do. My brother-in-law has actually been happier and more sociable than usual since my divorce, and now I know why, although first I thought he felt sorry and wanted to support me. His jokes about me ending up an old maid with cats as companions don't sound like jokes anymore. He meant them. I don't want to ruin my sister's life. She's very happy with her husband. I'm not sure either if I can with her husband. I'm not sure if I should tell my ex or not. I am very heartbroken that he didn't believe me. Love him very much. He is the love of my life, but I'm not sure if I can forgive him for not believing me. But he is a victim in this too, so maybe he needs to know for closure. I am so terribly sad and hurt. I'm sorry this post got very long. Update 1. My soon-to-be ex-husband knows everything now. Apparently the guy who contacted me contacted my husband at the same time and confessed to him. My soon-to-be ex is coming to town this weekend and he wants to talk. Afterwards I will probably need to look into taking legal actions if that's possible and tell my family. I think now that exposing him is the best and more safe approach. Should anything more serious happen, at least people would be aware of who to blame. I want to at least make sure that my sister and her children are in safety before I tell them everything, like meeting them at my parents' house after I tell my parents. The pictures were real and were probably stolen from my phone or my husband's because he is the only one that I took the pictures for. I don't know if I can get any justice since the pictures were not on my face. At least I was smart enough not to have my face shown in nudes. I don't know what will happen. Mini update. Trigger warning, self-harm. I really don't have much to add. My sister is very angry. She said that I have ruined her husband's reputation because my ex has blasted him and his friend everywhere. Now he is talking about wanting to end his life because I ruined it because of a joke he played. My parents have told her everything the day everything was exposed, and apparently she believed them, me, at first, but now she has turned on me, so she is refusing to listen. I wish I could have a moment with her first before hell broke. New update. I am sorry that I have been gone for too long, and I am overwhelmed by the support that you have given me here. Some of you still asking about me. I don't know where to start. I have been in constant pain and stress about everything that happened, but my brother-in-law is now exposed to everyone about what he did to me. For those of you who think he is in love with me, he isn't. He very much hates my guts and has done since the day I rejected him. Hate is also a driving force and not only love. So for the stupid users, that I would like to call losers, who made fun of me and about me, bragging about a man not being over me in 20 years, that is not it. If this is bragging, then you're actually very sick in the head. Unfortunately, I was sent these comments from a different sub about updates. What a bunch of losers. I was in constant fear that my brother-in-law will be hurting my sister because of me, and I am not certain if he will. But that was the only reason I have been apathetic. I wasn't sure what the right step was with people like him. He has hidden his hatred so well for so long, so what more is he capable of? I didn't want my sister and her children to be the collateral damage. That's why I have been careful. I am sorry to disappoint you by not being the strong bad bitch. I have other priorities. My sister and I finally talked. I love her and her children very much. She seemed just very hurt and questioning her entire marriage, and who can blame her? I tried the baby steps approach. I wanted her to know I was there for her, and I was honest with her about my worries about her and her children with a man like him. It worked for a while and I was being hopeful, but something changed, and it probably had to do with her husband giving her an ultimatum. Divorce or cut your family off. She chose her marriage. It broke my parents and me, but I don't think we can do anything about it. It is her own choice, even if we believe it is coerced. But maybe there's this little chance that she knows him better than we do. There's the little hope that he is a better person towards his family. I am clinging on to that hope. She wrote us telling us to forget she and her children existed, and that they will take legal action if we ever tried to contact them. Brother-in-law deleted all his social media accounts, and his friends apparently all want nothing to do with him. I have heard he is planning on leaving the city because everyone knows what he did now, and he is having a hard time with it. He barely leaves the house, and he has been shamed, even at work. My ex-husband and I are moving on with the divorce. I don't blame him for believing the rumors, but at the same time I wish he knew me better like I thought he did. That I would never do such a thing and cheat on him. I am so sorry that he moved back for me and probably was hoping we could give it another chance, but I can't. He has apologized so many times and said so many times that he never truly believed the rumors, but I have started to think that our marriage wasn't strong enough to overcome a rumor. It is nobody's fault, but I thought our love was stronger than it actually was. I think we both thought that. I have started dating a new guy a few weeks before all this started, after over a year of me not even being able to leave bed. He has seen all of this unfolding, and he's been very patient and supportive. I think I have a real shot at happiness now. At least he knows everything and is well prepared in case my brother-in-law isn't done with me yet. Thank you for reading all this. And thank you again for being there for me. My F31 BF M29 got upset I said no to sex after a surgery. Hi Reddit. Throwaway here. There's something that happened 6 months ago that I just can't get out of my head, so I wanted to get an outside opinion. I had an eye surgery that resulted in me not being able to see well and to be in discomfort the day of, and several days later. I asked my BF to stay at my place so I wouldn't be alone while recovering. I was also very nervous about the surgery and was following all of the rules my doctor gave, as I was scared to mess something up. This included not touching/rubbing my eyes and wearing eye guards to sleep. It was in the evening, my surgery was in the morning, and I was lying on the couch, being careful nothing was touching my eyes. My BF came over and immediately started trying to initiate sex. I told him no and told him the reasons above, that I felt really anxious I would somehow rub my eyes, I was feeling uncomfortable, etc. He immediately offered that I could get on top to make sure nothing touched my eyes. I was really disappointed and just felt disrespected. He ended up getting up angrily and going to bed in silence, and we didn't talk until the next day. I told him I felt really disrespected, and he said he realized he shouldn't have taken it personally. We haven't talked about it since, but I just can't seem to get it out of my head. I have not brought it up to him again. I want to be able to forgive him for this and to move on, but I also want to feel secure. For example, if I need to have another surgery or birth a child, that I could depend on him to be there. Am I blowing this out of proportion? Any advice on how I can move on from this? Edited to add, we've been together for about 4 years. I fucked up. I, 29M, got upset when my ex-girlfriend, 31F, didn't want to be close to me after a surgery. Hi, I fucked up. This post is written by me, but before posting I implemented some comments my ex-girlfriend made to it to show her perspective as much as possible. She had also made a post about it not so long ago, showing her perspective in a time where she didn't feel good in our relationship. This is the story. Me, 29M, and my ex-girlfriend, 31F, are in a 4-year relationship, mostly long distance, with seeing each other every 1 to 2 months. About 6 months ago, my girlfriend had a laser eye surgery. I went to her place for 2 weeks to support her and care for her, still had to do home office though. We had a really nice time before the surgery. But on the day of the surgery, some things happened that added to her feelings of insecurity in our relationship and is a big reason for our breakup now. So, on the day of the surgery, I came with her to the hospital and drove home with her afterwards. The surgery went well and she already started seeing better a few hours afterwards. But understandably, she was really scared and uncomfortable. I tried to make her feel better by assuring her that I'm there for her and trying to make her feel less scared, repeating what the doctor said and how well that surgery usually goes. With really bad timing, I also had a big fuck up at work that day. During the surgery, I found out that I ordered major machine parts for 4x the price than I thought they would be. When she came out of the surgery, I was outside on a phone call, and she had to shortly wait for me while not being able to see and experiencing discomfort from the surgery. I felt bad that I was on the phone call, but also didn't realize how disappointed she was because of it. She didn't tell me until much later because she wanted to be understanding in that moment. We got home after the surgery in the morning, and she lied down listening to podcasts with her eyes closed. I was rather excited for her, that everything seemed to have worked out, and proud that she made a decision that will improve her life quality. I guess I didn't quite realize how scared she actually was that day. So I made sure she was comfortable. She lied comfortably, stayed close to her in the same room, and then tried to fix the mistakes I made at work, which needed immediate action if to be repaired. I fixed it at least partially while still checking in on her in the meantime, talking about how her vision changed and the podcasts she was listening to while touching her legs. In the evening, we ordered food and listened in to podcasts together. A bit later, we said to go to sleep, and I wanted to feel close to her, to feel and show the support we have for each other and feel less stressed and worried as we usually do when we cuddle. I must have laid on top of her, and she turned her head to protect her eyes. Think I forgot for 1 second. I also initiated to have sex, and when she said no, I suggested she could go on top because it's safer for her eyes. She felt pushed to something she didn't feel comfortable to do and let me know that she didn't like the way I acted. That made me upset, so I went up to the bed where there was more space. I asked her to come up, but she felt safer on the couch. I suggested I could help her put the eye shields on that the doctor said she should use while sleeping anyways. But by that time, she just felt safe enough on the couch without the shields. In that moment, that just didn't make sense to me. She was scared, but still didn't want to put on her eye protection. In that moment, I felt pushed away and hurt, and also let her know about it by keeping to myself. She also felt very hurt because I was very inconsiderate and not empathetic, but she didn't tell me that day. I can totally see that and feel awful for it. Getting upset and treating her like she was in the wrong when she didn't want to be physically close because she was scared is incredibly selfish and inconsiderate and not somebody that I want to be. I wish I could take all of it back and be the loving, caring boyfriend she needed in that moment. The rest of the week we still had a really nice time. We went on a little cabin trip and showed love and affection for each other. But we didn't really talk about the incident again in that week to enjoy the time we still had with each other. In the months since then, it only came up a few times. I apologized and tried to explain her what happened in my head in that moment of why I acted so badly. Otherwise, I try to not look back at it. Sometimes when she would bring it up again, which to me at that time came out of nowhere, I got annoyed because I thought it was already solved, that I already told her several times that I feel really bad about it and that it won't happen again. But she wasn't able to get over it and was scared now that I would act similarly if she ever has a surgery again or puts a baby into the world. Now that she's actually breaking up and am realizing how much it still bothers her, I wish I had reflected more about it in the past, making her feel secure and trying to repair it with actions. In the past weeks, I have had a lot of time to reflect about how I have been to her sometimes. I feel awful and realize that it's mostly two major problems. 1. A problem of communication and that some things don't get solved because of it and instead pile up. 2. Me being not empathetic or considerate enough. I am willing to work on it and have made a plan of how especially I can become better at communication and being more empathetic, but often I feel like it's too late. We just had a really nice few days together talking about everything in very considerate and reflective ways and doing things together that we love doing. It's pretty obvious we still love each other very much. And in my imagination there are still a million futures in which we become a happy old married couple. But she seems very unsure about it. Finally, we had recently been planning to move together. The doubts she already had added to the stress of finding a place together. I feel quite lost now and can't wrap my head around it. I know we love each other. I know we have a strong base to work out our issues. I know she still has hope too, and I feel like it would be so sad if after 6 years we don't even take the chance to finally move together and fix things while we have a life in the same place. But I also feel like I'm majorly fucked up and can understand why she feels this way. Any thoughts or advice?